This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us for yet another Factual Friday, video number 3, where we discuss myths and facts associated with sexual assault in honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is every April. There's a lot of information that circulates about sexual violence and the people affected by it. The following myths are common and can impact survivors of assault or abuse, as well as the behaviors and effectiveness of friends, family, medical staff, social services, and law enforcement personnel. Hopefully this video will broaden your knowledge and education around this topic so that you can better support someone that you know if they are a victim of sexual assault. And also feel free to share this video with any friends, family, or coworkers. Today we're going to be discussing 4 myths. Our first myth is only young, pretty women are sexually assaulted. So the belief that only young, pretty women are sexually assaulted stems from the myth that sexual assault is based on sex and physical attraction, as well as sexual gratification. Sexual assault is a crime of power and control, and offenders often choose people who they perceive as most vulnerable to the attack or over whom they believe they can assert power. There are statistics out there that state that sexual assault victims come from all walks of life. They can range in age from very old to very young. Many victims of sexual violence are actually under the age of 12. 67% of all victims of sexual assault reported to law enforcement agencies were juvenile. This is under the age of 18, and 34% of all victims were under the age of 12. 1 of every 7 victims of sexual assault reported to law enforcement agencies are under the age of 6. Assumptions about the typical sexual assault victim may further isolate those victims because they may feel that will not be believed if they do not share the characteristics of a stereotypical sexual assault victim. Again, perpetrators of sexual violence are looking for someone who is attainable, someone who seems to be maybe weaker than them that they can overpower, someone who is vulnerable to attack. Maybe they're, under the influence at a party. They're easily taken away from their friends. Maybe they don't have very high self-esteem. Maybe they're not paying attention while walking out to their car. Again, these are not being stated to place any blame on the victim at all. It is 100% the perpetrator's fault if a sexual assault occurs. They are looking for vulnerable targets. All right, myth number 2 is wearing revealing clothing, behaving provocatively, or drinking a lot means the victim was asking for it. So again, the perpetrator selects a victim or the victim's behavior or clothing choices does not mean that they are consenting to sexual activity. I could be at a party, wearing very revealing clothing, drinking too much, partying too much. Maybe I'm not even drinking, but I'm just very flirty and having a good time and hanging out with everyone, and my behavior or my clothing choice or my consumption of alcohol is not consent. The only thing that is consent is a yes, that I want to do this. Yes, I'm into it. Yes, I would like to have sex. Rape and sexual assault are crimes of violence and control that stems from a person's determination to exercise power over another person. Neither provocative dress nor promiscuous behavior are invitations for unwanted sexual activity. Forcing someone to engage in non-consensual sexual activity is sexual assault, regardless of the way that the victim dresses or acts. Again, let's remember some of the statistics from the last myth. 67% of all victims of sexual assault reported to law enforcement agencies were juveniles under the age of 18. 34% of them were under the age of 12. Would we say that the way that they were dressed or the way that they were acting means that they were asking for that sexual assault to occur? Absolutely not. So why would we say the same thing about an adult? Okay. All right, myth number 3, a lot of victims lie about being raped or give false reports. I hear this all the time. it's so difficult for us to think that someone that we know, someone that we love, someone that we trust, someone that is a friend or family member of ours could in fact or has in fact perpetrated sexual violence against someone else. So sometimes it's easier for us to believe that a lot of victims lie. Now, is there false reporting? Yes, absolutely there is. Um, but statistics show that only between 2 and 8% of rapes are falsely reported. What's really important for us to understand about this percentage is this is the same percentage as other crimes across the board. We see that between 2 and 8% of all crimes are falsely reported. So it's right in line with other types of crimes. Okay. So what does this tell us? When someone comes to us and says that they have been sexually assaulted or they have been raped, we need to believe them. Okay. All right. The last myth we're going to talk about today is most sexual assaults are committed by strangers. It's not rape if the people involved know each other. Okay. Again, this kind of goes back to some of our conversations from week one when we talked about stranger danger and what we teach our kids about who is the boogeyman and who are the bad people and who we should be afraid of. We often have the conversation about stranger danger, but in all actuality, the majority of sexual violence, whether it's perpetrated against a child or an adult, is perpetrated by someone that we know. Okay, so most sexual assaults and rapes are committed by someone that the victim knows. Among victims ages 18 to 29, 2/3 had a prior relationship with the offender. During the year 2000, about 6 in 10 rapes or sexual assault victims stated that the offender was an intimate partner, other relative, a friend, or an acquaintance. A study of sexual victimization of college women showed that most victims knew the person who sexually victimized them. For both completed and attempted rapes, about 9 in 10 offenders were known to the victim, most often a boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, classmate, friend, acquaintance, or coworker was the one who victimized the woman. Sexual assaults can be committed within any type of relationship, including marriage, in dating relationships, or by friends, acquaintances, or coworkers. Sexual assaults can occur in heterosexual or same gender relationships. It does not matter whether there is a current or past relationship between the victim and offender. Unwanted sexual activity is sexual assault, and this is a very serious crime. All right, so those are our 4 myths for our week 3 of Factual Friday, discussing myths and facts associated with sexual assault. Please let us know if you have any additional questions regarding these myths. And again, if you or someone that you know is in need of assistance regarding domestic violence or sexual assault, please contact our agency and we will get you to access to services either through us or someone who is closer to you. You can reach our crisis hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 936-441-7273. Thanks and have a great week.